So here I'm printing just the values of it. Can you all see the terminal? Can you all see the output terminal?
Yeah.
So I'm running it. Yeah, we have got one error. What is it?
Printf.
Yeah.
Printf.
Okay, I use it to write Python codes so many, so I have written like that. And there is one more error also here. Yeah. Now you can see in the output screen, I'm increasing the font size. We have got the numbers from 1 to 10, isn't it? So if I want to, the break statement is used then. If I want to print only 6 numbers, that is at the number 6, if I want to break the loop, this is looping, I have put the condition k is less than or equal to 10. So till 10 it will, the for loop will be iterated. But I want to break the iteration when the value is 6. So we already know the how to write an if condition. So I'm using it. If k is double equal to, that is we have discussed operators. It is an equal to operator. When we write a single statement, then we no need to open the flower brace like this. Without opening the flower brace also we can write the statement for single line statements. If you write multiple lines, it is mandatorily suggested to open the flower braces. Now I'm writing a single statement, that is break. So I'm not opening and closing the flower brace for the if block. So it is, as it is containing only one statement, no need to open and close the floor brace. So let us check the output once. See, now you can see up to 6 it has printed. At the moment of 6 it has the statement break work and it has break the loop. Now let us check with another number. Let me try with 4. So it is printing till 4. Did you understand the concept of break now or any doubts? Friends, anyone having any doubts about break statement?
Repeat once again
Where?
from starting.
Okay, I will explain, continue, and again I will repeat both of them.
Okay.
Now let us discuss about continue. Continue is a keyword similar to break, but what it does is it just skips the current iteration. Can you all see what I'm typing?
Yes.
Okay,
No.
it just skips the current iteration. Who said no? Is it visible to all? Continue.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It just skips the current iteration. కంటిన్యూ స్టేట్మెంట్ అదేం చేస్తుంది అంటే జస్ట్ ఫర్ లూప్లో 1 to 10లో మనకి ఒక పర్టికులర్ నెంబర్ని స్కిప్ చేస్తుంది మనకు అది అంటే హియర్ వి యూజింగ్ ఇంటిజర్ డేటా సో ఇట్ స్కిప్స్ ద ఇంటిజర్ డేటా వాట్ ఎవర్ ఫర్ లూప్ వి రైట్ ఫర్ ఇట్ విల్ స్కిప్ దట్ కరెంట్ ఇటరేషన్ సింప్లీ సో ఐ వాంట్ టు షో యూ ఇన్ ద ప్రోగ్రామ్. Okay, I'll once again explain the break. Simply, what we have done here is the font size visible to all? I'm increasing somewhat. Okay.
Okay.
Here I have declared integer variables, two integer variables. One is a equal to 1. I have initialized the value statically here. I am not taking from the user. And k, I have initialized k equal to 1. And it is, I have put the condition k is less than or equal to 10. That means initially at the bottom I'm writing the explanation. First the value will be 1. How for loop works I will tell you. First the k value is 1. Then next it checks the condition. K is less than or equal to 10. Yes, true. Then what does it do? It just simply enters into the printf. Observe the mouse pointer what I am moving. It will not check this k plus plus. First initially k value is 1. Then it checks for the condition. Here k will be replaced with 1. 1 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, true. Then what will it will do is it just simply enters the block. That is, it enters into this floor brace. It enters into this block and there's a printf statement. So it prints the value of k. What is the value of k now? 1. So one gets printed in the terminal output screen. Then it checks the if condition. If k double equal to 4, what is the value of k now? 1. 1 double is equal to 4. Is 1 equal to 4? No, false. So the statement will not get executed. Then again it will iterate. Now what happens is here this k plus plus will get executed now. K plus plus means what? K is equal to k plus 1. So one gets added to the k and that is reflected in the k itself again. That is pre-increment. Yesterday I have explained you. So the k is now updated to, now the k value is 2. Again it checks for the condition. 2 is less than or equal to 10. True. Again it performs the same operation till 4. Till 4 we have got the output till 4. Now it checks for the 4. Let us assume the k value is 4 now. It got incremented. 4 equal to 4. Yeah, true. After that, what do we have? We have a break statement. So what is the meaning of break? I want to నేను ఇక్కడనే ఆపేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నా ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ ని అంటే లైక్ ఈ ఫర్ లూప్ ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ ని ఐ వాంట్ టు బ్రేక్ హియర్ దట్ ఈస్ ద మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ కీవర్డ్ దిస్ ఈస్ ద కీవర్డ్ so it automatically comes out of this block. This what I have highlighted, this is the for block, for loop block. After encountering this break statement, it automatically comes out of this for block. So what is there here? Written 0. That means it is the end of the program. I hope you have cleared the concept with the break statement. Now similarly,
Yes.
now similarly I want to tell you about continue. I will keep this break statement as it is. Prior to this, I'm writing the continue code here. Okay, now if when k is equal to 3, then I want to continue. What does continue do? It skips the current iteration. Means what? When the value is equal to 3, it just omits that value. That means I'll then ignore just ignore that value 3 and continue with the remaining iterations. This for loop is meant for to iterate from value 1 to 10. Here at the value 3, it just ignore that value 3 and continue. Continue means you continue with the remaining part of the program. So again it checks with this condition. The same process is repeated. I just want to give some more brief explanation here. When the value is 2, when the k value is 2, it checks with 2 double equal to 3. Here we have put 3. So it checks with it returns false. So this will not get executed. Here also 2 is not equal to 8. It also will not execute it. Again the value gets incremented. Now the value k value is 3. That is 3 double equal to 3. Then we have a statement continue. So what it does is the remaining statements, whatever is there, it gets just ignored. So I want to keep this print statement after the if block, because we do not want to print the k value when it is 3, isn't it? Are you all can understand? When the value
Yes,
of
sir.
k is 3, I just want to skip this iteration, so the value of k does not get printed in the output. Let's check for it. I will erase this explanation part and put it in the word. Can you all see the output screen now? Yeah. Now you can see I'm highlighting the output. In output we got 1, 2, 4, 3 we did not get, because whenever 3 we will
We
ignore
can't
that
see
value.
output.
You cannot see output.
Yeah.
One second. Can you see now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now it.
Yeah, you can see the program code and output, right? Okay. Now if you observe in the output, I have highlighted the output. You can see 1, 2, the 3 is not there, because whenever the value is equal to 3, we have written the continue statement. Continue means it will skip the iteration. That's what I have told just now. So again it is continuing with 4, 5, 6, 7 and at 8 it is breaking. We are unable to print 9 and 10 also, because we have put a break statement after 8. Did you all understand or any doubts? Everybody, did you understand about break and continue with the execution part also?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's continue. This is a important concept when we take it competitive exams also. It's one of the important. I'm going to share the document once again. Yeah, we have finished with the main concepts of control statements. And in that, we have a switch case example also. It is similar to if else, yeah, as yesterday I have said. But there is one difference. I want to show you that. As I have already mentioned yesterday, we will write cases, switch case. That is for every condition we will write a case. So in this case, what all data types are accepted, what are not accepted, I will show you practically now. So I'm again taking an integer. So okay, every time we are taking integer data type, let us now take an character data type. Let me consider char some c is equal to. Okay, we will take the data from the user now. I have declared a character variable, and I want to take an input message. What is the format specifier for reading a character? It's percentile C.
Percentile C.
Yeah. So I'm reading the character. Once let put ampersand. Next, let us remove it and see what is the difference. For integer anyway, we put ampersand to read into a variable. Now I'm going to write a switch statement, switch block. Uh, Here I'm going to pass the variable as parameter. This is called as parameter. You have to just understand the terminology because the terminology also matters. This is called as switch block, which I have highlighted, and I have passed the variable as parameter, and I'm taking the case. If that variable, I'm taking the parameter, the variable as parameter now. I'm checking with the conditions. We in if else what we do in if else or nested if else, we'll write if this something is equal to something or some condition is true, then we tell to execute some set of statements. Similarly, here also we do the same thing. Case I'm writing, I'm just reading one character, so I'm putting one character here. I want to print. If the user enters M, I want to print Monday. Now you can understand what the problem is actually. For Tuesday, what is the condition? When will the Tuesday get executed? When will Tuesday get executed?
When a given character C.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
When we enter T, it will Tuesday will get executed.
When we enter T, Tuesday will be executed. So similarly,
Yes.
again there is a case for T also. Again, for Thursday also I have put T.
Okay.
So what will happen?
For Thursday, we have to change the T.
Yeah, but let us check for like this now. And you know, in switch case, yesterday I have mentioned that you need to put the break statements, isn't it?
Yes.
By default, I am printing invalid. If they enter something else than these characters, what I have highlighted here, it shows them invalid. In switch case, we have to put break statement. If we do not put break statement, what will happen? Let's just check it out now. Can you see the program code and output screen?
Output
Yes.
screen comes in.
See, okay, I will share once again the output screen. Can you now see the output screen?
Yes.
Yeah, now we got an error. At line 10, duplicate case value. Did you all see? Case T for Thursday, case T for Tuesday. Did you all observe this?
Yes.
Yeah, we cannot have duplicate values. That means we cannot write. The compiler will not accept. By default, in the compiler itself, they have written the conditions for switch case. You do not, you cannot have the same case values. So I will change this value as H. Now let's
Default printf.
yeah, I have changed it already just now. Now can you see both program code and output screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now I'm executing. There are no errors, but see the output. It is asking us to enter a character. I want to enter some W. Now check what happened. I have entered W, but I have got all the statements under the W. I have got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I will show one more output. Now understand. I'm entering M. From Monday to Saturday, including invalid, everything I have got. Everything what I have written in the printfs, I have got. I'll show one more case. I'm entering F. That is Friday. Now you can see we are getting Friday, Saturday, and invalid. Have you observed all those three different cases, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. Why we are getting like that? Can
Break
anybody tell?
statement is not used after printf.
Yeah. So that is the necessity of the break. Just now I have explained. To break the execution of the statements, we use a break. That is the major important thing in the switch case now. So now I will put break everywhere. Then we will get the desired output what we want. For every case, we have to put a break statement because if one condition is satisfied, for default also we have to put the break. Now let me show you the output now. As I have saved my file, again I have to run cc filename.c. Otherwise the changes would not reflect here. Now I am entering M. You can get only Monday. W, only Wednesday. If I enter capital W, it is invalid because I am not handling the case of capital W, isn't it? Then capital W ki em చేయాలనేది రాయలేదు program లో. So compiler won't understand. Like it cannot recognize the difference between capital W and small w, as the ASCII value of capital W is different and the small w is different. So it by default it is invalid. So what we can do here is, let me try like this. I will write two cases here, whether it works or not. Let us check. Capital W. So for small w and for capital W, I'm printing Wednesday now. Can you all see the both program and output screens? So I will enter capital T now. It is invalid because I have not written for it. I'm going to enter small w, Wednesday, fine. I'm going to enter now capital W. Yes, it is working fine. If you want to write a set of statement that is common to both the conditions, then we can write like this. In program code, I'm highlighting that particular code. For the small w and capital W, I'm going to print the same statement. So we can write like this. In objective questions, when you appear for an interview, you can see, you should not confuse. If we have two cases, will it give an compiler error or the correct output or not, it will ask. So you should be, now you know about it, you should confidently say it will give the correct output. So these are all the basics actually. Let's go deep into it. This is all about switch case. Now he can in the multiple choice questions he can remove these break statements also. If I remove a single break statement, what happens? You just see. After Wednesday, I have removed the break statement. He may ask differently. So it will execute for all the other cases. If you put T Tuesday, because after Tuesday we have a break statement, but for Wednesday we don't have. So it will print Wednesday and Thursday both, because after Thursday we have a break statement. మనకి వెనస్డే తర్వాత బ్రేక్ స్టేట్మెంట్ లేదు కాబట్టి దాని నెక్స్ట్ స్టేట్మెంట్ అనేది కూడా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అయిపోయింది, కండిషన్ చెక్ చేయకుండానే ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అయింది. దట్స్ ద ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆఫ్ బ్రేక్, అండ్ దిస్ ఈస్ ద ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ కేస్. We can write two statements also. This is all about switch case and break, use of the break. Okay, let's try something new. I want to put continue here. Let us imagine what happens. Can anybody tell what happens when we put continue here instead of break?
It skips Thursday,
No, it is
Friday,
giving,
Friday.
but it is giving an error because continue statement not within a loop. There are some rules for continue, so we don't know if in the objective questions, like in the interview online examination, if they give such type of code, instead of break if they put continue, it is an error, compiler error. This is called as compiler error. In Java we have runtime errors, but in C we do not have runtime errors. Don't confuse from runtime errors and compiler time errors. The main difference in those is, for C we have a compiler, so compiler will give us an error. That's why in C whatever errors we get, it is a compile time error. In Java we have JRE, that is Java Runtime Machine, Java Runtime Environment. The full form of JRE is Java Runtime Environment. So there is a runtime compiler, so it's a runtime error. Now you can see continue we can use only in the loops, so it is not accepting here. That's it. So these are all the different cases what we have in the switch and switch case. I hope covered all the different cases here. Let's go to the next topic. Yeah, next topic is arrays. Most interesting topic. So in arrays, actually first, what is an array? I don't know much.
Collection of
Okay.
collection of
Elements. What?
homogeneous elements.
Yeah, homogeneous.
Homogeneous.
Elements. Yeah, homogeneous elements. It is not collection of all types of elements. It is only just collection of similar data type elements. What is homogeneous? What is the meaning of homogeneous?
Similar, same.
Yeah, which is of same kind. The elements which are of same kind. What is same kind? What does the same kind means? That is, if we
It contains only
yeah, tell me.
characters or integers, not combinations of characters and integers.
Yeah, you are correct. Not only combination of character and integer, it will not allow combination of anything. It may be float, integer, short, long,
Yes.
double, float, any kind of data type. So if you declare an array of size can be anything above which, if you declare it as int, then it contains of only integers. If you declare as char, then it should contain only characters. Similarly, you know about remaining data types like float. No need to, I hope no need to mention all the examples. So similarly, all the other data types also, 5.5 something, okay, like this. We have concept of structures. We will discuss in next classes. It will take heterogeneous type of data type. That is, we can have the combination of character, float, and integer. That is called as user defined data type, and it comes under derived. Yesterday we have discussed about primary data types and derived data types. So that comes under derived data types. I hope you have cleared with the basic of array. Now I want to show you practically. One second. Yeah. In arrays, we will get so many questions in entrance exams. Either it may be GATE or any IT company entrance exam. They use it to ask so many questions in arrays. I'll show you them also today now. Let us declare an integer array, some x. The identifier is x. The syntax is, first we will write the data type, then the identifier, that is variable name, and we will open the square bracket. In that we will mention the size of it. I'm giving the size as 5. As we have two types of declaration. One is static declaration, one is dynamic declaration. Do you know the difference between both of them? What is static declaration and what is dynamic declaration? Can anyone tell?
స్టార్ట్ మనం ప్రోగ్రామ్ లోనే ఇప్పుడు 1 2 3 5 ఎక్స్ ఆఫ్ 5 ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు 1 2 3 4 5 అని ఇచ్చేస్తే స్టాటిక్. అది మనం అవుట్పుట్ లో యూజర్ ని అడిగితే డైనమిక్, అంటే ఎంటర్ ద వాల్యూస్ ఆఫ్ 5, దెన్ దట్ యూజర్ విల్ ఎంటర్ దోస్ 5.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. That is the difference between the static and dynamic type of declaration. First I want to show you the
Yes.
dynamic, first I want to show the static type of declaration. I want to give some 5 values now. I just want to print. If you directly write printf statement, and if you write %d and x, what happens in the case of array? X is not a single variable, it's an array. Now what happens?
ఎర్రర్.
Let's check what the error is also, because we need to know about all the errors also.
ఎస్.
See, we are getting, it has the type. Can you see the output screen?
ఎస్.
Yeah, it is giving a warning. It's not an error, we are getting a warning. Forward %d,
ఓకే.
it is of type integer array argument, int pointer. This is an integer array, but you are taking only int.
ఓకే.
So let me print some x of 3. What happens? I did not get any error. I did not put /n, so that's why the output is not so clear. Now you can see we have got 5. That means where is the 5? 5 is situated, I have highlighted in the program code. It is situated here.
ఓకే.
That means the first value is the index 0. The next is index 1, 2, and 3. This is the index 3. I have given x of 3, that is indexing. In array we have the concept of indexing. The array index starts from 0. So if you write 0 here, we get 1. Similarly, if you write 4, we get the last value, because the size of the array is 5 and the maximum length of the array is n minus 1. If the size of the array is n, then the last index will be n minus 1. as we are starting from the 0. Now you can see that in the output screen, it is printing 6. That is the last value. Okay,
Okay.
if we give the index as 5, that is the length of the array I'm giving the index. What happens? We have got some garbage value. See, this is called as garbage value. In output, you can see 32764. That is a garbage value. Now I will give x of 8. X of 8 is not existing, but still I want to print it. What happens? We have got more garbage value. So what does it mean is, yesterday I have explained using an Excel sheet. I have told you how the memory allocation happens, isn't it? In array, the memory allocation will be a continuous blocks. Like in program code I'm explaining, the 1000 is the first address, then 1004, 1005, 1008. Like 4 bytes, it gets incremented. So the last value, let us consider as 1032. Till here we have the values like 1, here 3, 4, in between 5, and at last we have 6. After this also address locations will be there in the memory, in the RAM. There some garbage values will be there. Some random garbage values like this. So those values we are printing in, we are getting in the output screen. Is it clear for you? This explanation part. Now if you want to print entire array, what we have to do? What we can use to
For
print
loop.
entire array?
For loop.
Yeah, for loop. Not only for loop, we can use any type of loops.
Any.
Yeah,
Yeah, loop.
yeah. Most of the cases you have used for loop. Now I want to show you using a while loop. Why can't we? We can use while loop also. So
Okay.
I am declaring a variable, one more variable, that is I. Okay, the initial value of I is 0,
Zero.
and I'm checking it is less than the length of the array size. I have taken the initial value of the I as 0 because the array index starts from 0. For 1 second, one of our friend has got disconnected. I didn't get any request from Rashmita. They can directly join. I did not put any restriction like waiting room. Ask her to join once again. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, let's continue with the topic. If you have any doubts, you can unmute yourself and ask me immediately. Okay, we have written a while loop. As I have already mentioned, if we write multiple statements, then opening and closing of floor base is required. I am writing only single printf statements, so I am not going to write any. Now here the value of I is 0, isn't it? As I have already told, the array index starts from 0. 1 next continues with 1, 2, 3. It's a continuous memory allocation. So here I need to put x of I, that is we have declared the variable. Those values 0, 1, 2, 3 are incrementing in the variable I. So I am putting the value I here as an index. Now let's see what happens. In for loop, we will, in the for loop we have, in the syntax itself we have I++. So we need to put the I++ here, but I'm not putting that statement. Just let us check what happens. See, it's an infinite loop. This is called as an infinite loop. These type of questions can be asked in the entrance exams. They'll give such type of code and asks for the output. Options will be infinite loop or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This they will show the options like 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Many of the people make mistake, like they will think this as the right answer. We have to observe that we are not breaking the loop here. We did not break any loop here. In for loop, we have condition. It will check for the condition. Until that, it will continue. Can you all see it is keep on printing the ones. It's an infinite loop. Until I exit the program, it keeps on printing 1. Can you all see this? Now I'm stopping the program. It has stopped. See why it has happened like that. Can anyone tell? If you tell this explanation correctly, then you have understood most of the logic. Why it has printed once continuously?
When int I equal to 0,
Yeah.
it will enter while I less than 5, where I
Yeah.
is 0, 0 is less than 5.
Yeah.
So it will print that first one.
Okay.
Again it will take I equal to 0. Again 0 is less than 5. It will repeat that statement.
Yes. Yes. We are not incrementing the I value. So I value will not change. Anytime, for every time, lifelong, until this program stops. There are scope. We didn't discuss the concept of called a scope. That is, the program scope is until it reaches this return 0, the scope will be there. That means it will iterate through this while loop continuously. So I value is 0 for the lifetime of this program. So it continuously print the same value until you stop manually. So what we can do here is, I can put I++, but we have written two statements, so I need to write open brace and close brace. Now whatever we have written in the open brace and close brace, that will comes under while loop block. Now I will once again execute the program. Okay, I did not write the index value. I'm writing as one. Okay. Now you can see. Can you all see? We have got correct output. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let us change the I value. I'm putting I is less than 3. Now let us check what happens. You can the I value, what I'm going to explain in the program code. Let's see. Initial I value is 0. Then it prints index of 0. X of 0 is what? 1. So 1 got printed. Then I value gets incremented here, I++. Then I value is 1. Again the index of the value at one position, index 1 gets printed. Then the I value is incremented again to 2. Again at the index position 2, what is the value 4? It also got printed. Then again I value got incremented, I++. Now the I value is 3. Now the I value is 3. When the I value is 3, it checks 3 is less than 3. Is 3 is less than 3? No, it is equal. 3 is equal to 3. So false. There the loop breaks. And this is the third index position, 5. We did not get that in the output because we did not enter the loop. Am I clear with that concept? Any doubts now? Everyone, are you clear with the concept of arrays and how to print an array? Okay, now I want to show you a example. Clearly observe the program code. I'm going to modify. I'm removing two elements. There are 1, 3, 4. Okay, let me change it as 1, 2, and 3. The array size is 5, but I am giving only 3 variables. I want to print the entire array. What happens? Can anyone tell what can we expect as output? This is the real-time question. What you can face in the entrance exams. Can anyone tell? I have declared this array as 5, but I have given only 3 values. What happens?
1 2 3 0 0.
Why 0 0?
Here we given x of index 0 1 2 3 4 5 are not there, so it prints 0 0.
Yeah, 1 2 3 0 0. You are correct. Why 0 0 means when we declare an array, I am going to give an explanation here. It creates an index of 5. In the first index, we have given the value as 1, next 2, and 3. In the case of array, what it does is the remaining size of the array is filled with, by default, it will be filled with zeros. This concept you remember very carefully because so many types of questions based on this concept will be asked in the exams. It's important concept. You should not confuse. The remaining 2 elements are not declared. What happens? You should not think that it will print the garbage value. Okay, let me check. I'll change the array size as 8 now. Let us see what happens. See, 1 2 3 we have declared the array size as 5. So 4th and 5th elements are 0 0 and 6th 7th 8th are garbage values. Are you clear with this concept? When it will print garbage value and when it will print zeros? Are you clear with this difference, everyone? When the
Yes.
array is accessed within the size of the array, when the index of an elements are accessed inside the size of an array, then we will get zeros. And if the element exists, if the data is available in that index position, we will get the data like 1 2 3. If that is not present, we will get 0. If it is out of bounds, array index out of bound here, so we will get this garbage value. That is the concept here. And I want to give only 1, and I'm putting array size as same 5. Let us see. 1 and all zeros. Now I'm not declaring. Clearly observe here. I'm highlighting the statement, third line, line number 3. I'm not mentioning the size of an array. Now what happens? What happens when I do not mention the size of an array? Yeah, you can tell, you can guess, no problem. Either it may be wrong or right. We will learn from mistakes only. You can tell. What happens when we do not declare the
Memory is
size of an array?
allocated only for 2 bytes.
Only for 2 bytes. Okay, will it give any error or without error it will compile?
Without error.
Error.
Okay, some are saying error, some are saying not error. Okay, let's check. There is no error. So if you see in written exam, in the option if it is there error, don't put the error option. Even though we do not put the size of we do not mention the size of an array, there will be no error. The program will be executed. Then what happens? It has allocated for only one integer, and the remaining values are garbage values.
Why we got those garbage values?
Because I have declared only one value. The remaining, the memory is allocated, but there is no data available there. Now I want to show you something more interesting. Here you observe the line number 3 again. I did not mention any size of an array. I have put 1. Here we are getting 1 and all garbage values. Now let me put a comma here. What happens? 1 and comma. I'm not mentioning anything. What happens now? Just take a guess, no problem. తప్పైనా పర్లేదు చెప్పండి. I have put 1 and comma. What happens now? Come on, fast. We are running out of time. Take any random guess. You can tell it. We do not get any error. Yeah, we do not get any error. I'm going to execute. Before I execute, I want some answer. Am I audible to everyone? Can you see the program code and output screen?
Yes.
Okay, I will show you the output. We are getting same again. But there will be one concept wherein we will get all zeros or all ones. That will be one scenario. I want to show you that. It is not accepting comma in the first stage. Okay. Yeah, I have forgotten. X of 5 is equal to 0. Then we'll get, I hope so.
0
See,
sound.
yeah, now you can get all zeros.
Yes.
Now we have declared the size of an array as 5. But I have given, I'm initializing the array with only 1. Why it is giving all ones or all zeros? Now see, you can see the initial value as 1 and the remaining values are here as 0. I'm highlighting in the output screen.
Why it is not giving garbage values?
Because I have
It is in
mentioned,
range.
yes. If in the before scenario, ముందు చెప్పినప్పుడు ఏం చేసినా అంటే x equal x ఈ 5 ని తీసేసిన. ఇప్పుడు కూడా చూడండి, I'm removing that 5. Now it will give the garbage value.
Print.
See, now it is giving the garbage value because I did not put the size of it.
Okay.
Okay.
And let me give you more clarity on this. I want to print now the size of the array. Do you know how to check the size of any data type? We have a default method for it. Can anyone tell
Size
that?
of operator.
Yeah, we have a size of operator. Using it, we can able to get the size of anything. So I want to retrieve the size of x. As it is going to give us an integer data type, we will put it in %d. Now let us check what is the size of it when we do not mention any size. As it is giving us an unsigned integer, we have to put the format specifier as LD. That's why we got an error. See, the size is 4. Actually, if I write a statement here, it would be more clear to you. Size of array is, now it would be more clear to you. See, you can see the output screen. Size of the array is 4. Why? My operating system is 64-bit operating system. That's why one integer occupies 4 bytes. I have here given only one integer, so size of the array is 4. Okay, I will give one more integer. Now let us check. What's the size? Can you guess what is the size of the array now? What you will be getting in the output?
8.
Yes, you are right. The size of the array is 8 because 2 integer occupies 8 bytes. And the array is 1, 2, remaining are garbage values. Because I did not mention any, someone has asked me the doubt. Why we are getting garbage values? Because I did not mention the size of an array. Statically, by అంటే నేను ఎన్ని ఇంటిజర్స్ ఇస్తున్నాను దాన్ని బట్టి సైజ్ అనేది డిసైడ్ అవుతుంది. నేను 2 ఇంటిజర్స్ ఇస్తే సైజ్ అనేది 8 వస్తుంది. 3 ఇస్తే మళ్ళీ 4 యాడ్ అయ్యి 12 వస్తుంది. సో if I give the size as 5 here, index as maximum size as 5 in the array, now we do not get garbage values because we are initializing the array with 5 indexes. The remaining indexes which do not have any elements, value of the elements, they will be given as zeros. See, now the size is 20. Why? Each integer occupies 4 bytes and we have declared an array of size 5. 5 into 4, 20. 5 4 is 20. So the size of an array is 20 and we have only 2 elements in the array. So 1 and 2, the remaining elements are 0. Am I clear? Now let me show you.
Yes.
Yeah. I am putting 1 and comma. I am not writing 2. Now what happens? Let us check. Whether we get all 1 and all zeros or all ones, let us see. We are getting 1 and all zeros. So this is all about arrays, and we will get and we will get all ones in the output. That is also one case. I will tell you that tomorrow. And this is all about the concept of array and different types of indexing positions. Like you have seen static declaration. I will show you the dynamic declaration also, so that we can finish with the entire concept. So this is all about the static declaration. Now the size is 5. Okay, we have seen using while loop. Now let me use for loop also. I'm writing for loop. I is equal to, I'm starting, already I have declared the I value as 0. Okay, I will, everybody will write the same syntax. I want to show you some different syntax. Do you want to see now? See, I'm not writing the I value as 0. I have put a semicolon. I'm directly writing condition and increment. What will happen now? Tell me. What happens? Yeah, you can tell. You can take a guess. No problem. What happens there? Do we get an error or will that be executed? Yes, please. You can answer. I'm not your faculty. I am not going to say anything to you if you tell wrong also. చెప్పండి ఇక్కడ నేను ఐఎమ్ హైలైటింగ్ ద 6th లైన్. అందరు రాస్తారు కదా ఫర్ లూప్. ఎవరు రాసినా ఫర్ ఐ ఈక్వల్ 0, ఐ ఇస్ లెస్ దెన్ 5, ఐ ప్లస్ ప్లస్ అని స్టార్ట్ చేస్తారు. ఐ ఈక్వల్ 0 నేను ఇక్కడ రాయట్లేదు. సెమికోలన్, ఐ హావ్ పుట్ సెమికోలన్. వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్ నౌ? These type of questions are asked in the interviews. Yeah, we are running out of time. Tell me. Yesterday only I have told we have to be more interactive. Then only we can have more understanding and I can clarify all your doubts.
Maybe there will be no error as we declared in the starting int I equal to 0.
Okay. Okay, let's. Did you ever try like this? Anyone?
No.
Okay, now be ready to see it. I'm going to share the screen, both the program and output screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
There is some technical problem. 1 second. My terminal got struck. I'll close and open the terminal again. I'm going to share again. If it is not visible, just me. Yeah, we got an error. Why did we get an error? Can anyone tell? It's not just because of that I equal to 0, but we have missed something in scanf. Can anyone tell? I'm highlighting that in the output screen.
Ampersand
Yes.
Ampersand.
present.
Yeah. For integers, we have mandatorily we have to put ampersand. Either it may be array, either it may be single integer or array of integers. We have to put that ampersand symbol. Can you see both program code and output screen? Can you all see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah, now the size of the array is 20. And it is asking, the pointer is waiting there. I did not print any message to enter any message. So that's why it is not showing us to enter any message. But the scanf is executing now. It is asking us to enter the elements for an array. So I'm going to enter some elements 5, 6, 7, 2, 1. See, from user I have taken the input as 56721 and I have printed using tab space 56721. Did you all see it? This is the dynamic time the dynamic input. Taking the values from the user. And there is one more concept here. I am declaring the size statically 5. But if the user want to give array of 10 elements, then how we can take it? Tell me. I hope you all know about this. In program I have written the array size is 5, but the user want to give 10 elements. Then every time the user cannot open the program code and he cannot modify the program, isn't it? If you open any application in your mobile, if there is some error, will you open the code and will you rectify? You are just an user,
No.
so you are just an user, so everything should be ready for you. If you want to give 5 values, it has to take. If you want to give 100 values, it has to take. If you want to give some 1000 values also, the program need to take. Then only we consider it as a good program.
ఇంట్ ఎక్స్ ఆఫ్ 5 డిక్లేర్ చేయకపోతే అప్పుడు ఎన్ని ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఎంటర్ చేసుకోవచ్చేమో యూజర్.
Okay, I am not declaring as 5. I have declared int x of empty. Now will that be okay? Let us check. For your understanding, I'll print a message. Enter elements. And I'm going to print one message.
For loop I less than n.
N means what is the value of n?
Okay.
See, there it is mentioning that array size is missing in the output screen. Can you see?
Yes.
Previously, we did not get that error because I have declared the value statically. It has taken statically the size of it. But as I'm not mentioning the size statically, now we are getting an error. So what we can do is, before to this, yeah, what you have said n or something, anything. Let me consider it as size.
Yes.
anything. The identifier name is our wish. So I'm writing size here. I will just give a prompt message, enter your array size, and I'm reading it with the scanf %d, and I'm storing it in the variable name size. And we have to change here with the size. The condition should be I less than size, because till that size what the user has given, it has to be iterated, isn't it? అర్థమవుతుందా అందరికి? So it is asking us
Yes.
enter the array size. Okay, let's take a size as 8. I'm entering 8. Now the size of an array is 32. That is each integer occupies 4 bytes. 8 into 32, total 32.
8 into 4.
Yeah, sorry, 8 into 4, 32. So
8, 4, 32.
yeah, 8 into 4, 32.
Enter the
Then I'm going to enter the elements now. Either it may be positive or negative, it doesn't matter. We can give any elements, but only integers. We cannot give float. Okay, let me give float number, and what happens? See, then and there itself, when I enter float number, the program execution gets it terminated. The program execution got terminated. Did you observe that? Because we have declared an integer array, we cannot give another data type. And remaining indexes are filled with garbage values. As this is not static declaration, we do not get any zeros here. Okay, let me now take the same array of size 8. I'm giving negative integers also, 0 and everything. So I have entered my elements 2, -5, 0, 7, 9, 6, 3, 4. So user can enter n number of elements. If he wish to enter only 2 elements, that is fine. 3 and 2 elements are 2, 3 and 2. So this is the flexibility of the dynamic memory allocation. From the user itself, we are taking the size of an array and we are deciding the length then and there itself. This is called the good way of programming. If we declare the sizes and everything as static, it doesn't work, because it works only for one scenario, only for that size itself. So now user can give 100 elements also, it can handle the 100 elements also. Now I want to show you one more thing. I'm giving array size as 5, but I'm entering only 2 values.
And then there were a lot of complex calculations. So,
Okay. I'll let you know that tomorrow.
when we had started
This is the dynamic memory allocation.
about an hour and a half, that time for loading the
Are you all clear about this concept?
Yes.
Yes.
I hope you haven't seen this type of these many cases before. What I have shown, like last elements తీసేయడము అలాంటివి ఆన్లైన్ లో అడుగుతారు మనకి చాలా కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్స్ లో. I hope you have learned them today newly. And this also, one more thing. I'll share this once again. Yeah, in for loop, we can write like this. Can you all see the program code?
Yes.
We can skip any of the parameter. Not only I equal to 0, not only initialization. First part is initialization, next part is checking condition, third part is increment or decrement. We can skip anything. if we skip the checking of condition, it goes into infinite loop until and unless we put the break statement inside the for loop. It goes into infinite loop. I have showed the infinite loop also. So this is all about different cases in for loop. We have seen different cases in switch and case and different scenarios for array also. Do you want me to continue with strings today, or is that enough for today? It's your wish.
Enough.
Can I just introduce you with the strings?
Start tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, fine. So we have today, what we have discussed is, we have went through break and continue statements, with the use of it, switch cases, and arrays. Tomorrow we'll discuss about strings, because strings depends on arrays. So that's why I have taught you first arrays. Tomorrow we will discuss strings and pointers. Those are the most important concepts. Without arrays, we cannot understand strings and pointers. Pointers is the most important topic actually. It's a lot confusing, and even when we practice more, also we will get confusion. Still, it has so many types of models. So, do you have any doubts till what I have taught today? Once unmute everyone and tell your opinion about today's class. How did you feel? Hello? Everyone, can you see the program code?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm taking the character variable. Some C. I'm taking the size as 50. So you just now I have explained you the concept of arrays. So this array name is C and the size of it is 50. Now I'm printing a message. Enter a text. Then I want to scan it using scanf. I'm not going to use any string functions. I'm not using any for loop, but I want to scan with using a single scanf statement. I want to scan entire text, entire sentence. First I'll write the program code, then I will explain you clearly. So as it is a character data, no need to put the ampersand. Can you all see both program code and output screen now? If you cannot see, just let me know. We have missed one semicolon. Okay, now it is expecting us to enter a text. Now I'm going to enter a text. See, I did not put a slash in here. Now it will be more clear. Yeah, now you can see the output. Or yesterday we did not get, today we got that output. Can you see? I have entered the text. Hello everyone, we are learning C. Then we got the output. Your message is, hello everyone, we are learning C. I want to give you one more different case. Hi there. Your message is hi there. If you give 2 words or 3 words, n number of words it will accept now. But the text size should be 50 because we have mentioned 50. If you give more than 50 characters here, if you give more than 50 characters, then it will not take. Up to 50 characters it will take. Am I clear? Now I will explain you how it works. Yesterday we are able to read only one word. Now we can read any number of words. Are you all able to see the screen, output screen? Did you see the output?
Yes.
Yeah. Now I want to explain you how it is working actually. In our college, this kind of stuff we are unable to learn because the faculty will not have time to explain these type of concepts. They will just introduce you with the strings and they will tell you how to read a string. But in every college, most of the faculty won't teach how to read entire sentence. So this is the way how to read. Here I have used in scanf, I have used percentile. This is cap symbol. 1 second. This is cap symbol and slash n. First I want to tell the meaning of this. Percentile cap slash n, the meaning of it is, we know that when we hit in keyboard the enter, what happens? It goes to next line, isn't it? మనం ఎప్పుడైతే కీబోర్డ్ లో ఎంటర్ మీద ప్రెస్ చేస్తామో ఏమైతుంది, న్యూ లైన్ అని కన్సిడర్ చేస్తుంది కంపైలర్, అంతే కదా? Responsive and
Yes.
so,
Yes.
yeah, new line means what? Slash n. New line means slash n. So I'm taking slash n here. Cap slash n means ఈ క్యాప్ ఎందుకు వాడుతున్నామంటే ఇక్కడ until you read everything. Scanf means what? It reads the data, input data, isn't it? Scanf ఏం చేస్తుంది? ఇన్పుట్ డేటాని రీడ్ చేస్తుంది టెర్మినల్ నుండి. సో ఎక్కడ నేనేం చెప్తున్నా, నేను ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్లో స్కాన్ఎఫ్కి ఏం చెప్తున్నా అంటే, percentile d means what? It is format specifier to read an integer data, isn't it? Percentile d. Percentile c means format specifier for character data. Percentile f means float. Similarly, percentile square bracket slash n means it will read entire data, whatever present. Till what? Till slash n. That means till new line. Till we hit enter in the keyboard, it scans everything until the size of the array. We have mentioned 50. So 50 characters it will read now. Till it will read slash n also. So that is the meaning of it. It reads until it reaches end of the line. So it is reading new line also. So in order to remove that new line, we use percentile asterisk c. What does it mean is, it just removes the last character. That new line what we have read into the data, character data of the array, it removes or discards the last data of new line. Am I clear? The meaning of this scanf, what I have written, percentile square bracket cap slash n means it reads until it reaches the new line. After it reads new line also. So that new lines is removed by this percentile asterisk C. So only then it will store in this variable array of characters the text what we have entered. That is the concept behind this scanf. Not scanf, this format specifier, what cat/n is. Yesterday, where we have missed is we did not put this format specifier in front of square bracket, and I did not put this asterisk symbol. I hope now you have understood very clearly. Any doubts? Let me know. I will clarify. Yes, friends. Do you have any doubts regarding anything?
No.
Is that concept clear? Rashmita?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what you
And
have asked.
explain percentile hash C.
Percentile
That percentile star C.
స్టార్ సి యా ఇక్కడ వరకు అర్థమైంది కదా పర్సంటేల్ క్యాప్/n వరకు అర్థమైంది కదా నీకు
అర్థమైంది.
అది ఏం చేస్తుంది మొత్తం మనం ఎంటర్ ప్రెస్ చేసే అంత వరకు ఏమేమి టైప్ చేస్తామో అదంతా రీడ్ చేస్తుంది కదా సో /n ని కూడా అది రీడ్ చేసింది కానీ మనకు /n అవసరం లేదు ఇక్కడ అవుట్పుట్ స్క్రీన్ చూడు ఒకసారి హాయ్ దేర్ అని ఎంటర్ చేసిన నేను హాయ్ దేర్ అని టైప్ చేసి ఎంటర్ ప్రెస్ చేసిన కదా సో ఎంటర్ ప్రెస్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది /n అనేది కూడా రికార్డ్ అవుతుంది ఎందులో ఈ క్యారెక్టర్ వేరియబుల్ సి లో రికార్డ్ అయిపోతుంది ఆ /n అనేది మనకు అవసరం లేదు ఓన్లీ హాయ్ దేర్ అనేది అవసరం అందుకని ప్రోగ్రామ్ కోడ్ లో చూడు పర్సంటైల్ asterisk సి ఏం చేస్తుందంటే ఆ లాస్ట్ క్యారెక్టర్ ఏదైతే వచ్చిందో /n మనకు అవసరం లేదు దాన్ని డిస్కార్డ్ చేస్తుంది తీసేస్తుంది అంతే సింపుల్ గా మీకు కావాలంటే నేను ఈ పర్సంటైల్ asterisk సి ని తీసేసి చూపిస్తాను ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసి in program code you can see I have removed that one second, I'm going to share the screen once again. Now can you see the program code and output screen, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, in scanf you can see I have removed that asterisk percentile asterisk C. Now let us see the output. See, we have got the output. Hello everyone here. So percentile square brackets cap/n indicates that it will read the entire message till /n and /n also. In order to remove that /n, extra /n which we do not require, I'm going to use this again percentile asterisk C. That's it. Am I clear now? ఇప్పుడు అర్థమైంది అందరికి see now you can see the output has understood everybody. That's it. And I want one clarification that is this way of explanation is good for you, like for every concept opening we are writing code and we are seeing practically the output and seeing different cases what are available in each and every concept. Is this okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have some more any doubts or anything at any point of time, just unmute yourself and ask me. Don't hesitate to ask your doubts because I'm not your faculty, I'm your friend. I'm here to clarify all your doubts and make you and take you to the expert level in this language. So tomorrow we'll discuss more about strings. We have this is nothing but a string, isn't it? Now what we have seen, character array of character is nothing but string. We'll more discuss about strings tomorrow and competitive questions on strings, and next we'll continue with pointers. For every concept I will cover from basic to high level. and questions which you may ask, which may be asked in the interview orally and in the written exam also. Is that okay? Or anything more need to be done? If you expect anything more, just let me know. I will cover from tomorrow. That also, like any more explanation other than that. Is that fine?